instead of asking God why, we asked him and we said, okay, God, what? What are you doing through this? What are you going to do? And I think asking that question has opened our eyes to be able to see that. God's call for us to go to Ecuador happened years before we sensed him calling us to Ecuador.
We both knew that we had a calling to missions. We literally, for 9 years, were just kind of waiting for God to send us.
February 5th of the next year, 2014, our first daughter was born, Zoe. Beautiful baby, heavy baby. And we were so blessed that we finally had a girl, and the boys loved her and they doted on her.
I had only been back to work for like 2 weeks, I think, from maternity leave. There's a lady in our neighborhood who watched the boys, and she was gonna watch Zoe. The babysitter called, and I answered the phone in my office, and she just said, "Mackenzie, the baby's not breathing. She's not breathing." You know, I'm shaking. I don't know what's going on. I called Jeff immediately.
And Mackenzie calls me and says, "The baby's not breathing. 911's on its way. You got to get to the babysitters."
And I texted one of our small groups, and I just said, "Zoe's not breathing. Please pray." And one of the ladies texted back, God breathe into Zoe. And that was what I clung to.
Crossing the parking lot to the car. And I said, "God, just let me hold her one more time." And I run up in the front yard, and a sheriff stops me, and he says, I said, I'm the father, my baby's in there. I remember him, the first thing he said was, they tried as best they could, but they couldn't make it. She passed. We had to choose, would we go to God with this, or would we choose to walk through it by ourselves? And by God's grace, we chose to go to him.
We intentionally got up and we kept going. And Jeff said, I feel like I need to go up and sit in Zoe's room. We just went up to her room and we looked around and just remembered, all of the moments with her and all the moments preparing her room for her arrival. And in this weird way, it broke this stronghold that it could have had on us.
We had to choose to walk into the painful things, because in doing so, God met us there and just walked with us. It allowed us to keep going because God had things that he wanted to do, and he still wants to do through us. And if we had waited, or if we had stalled, we would have missed out on the timing of those. And as God uses this in our lives, he uses it also to minister to the lives of others. There are hurting people in Ecuador that need to hear that I can heal them. There are people going through really, really tough times in Ecuador that need to know that I can walk them through it just like I walked you through.
The joy that has come out of our obedience has brought so much healing for us that we might have missed out on if we would have said, I can't go now, or, not yet. as we share from our hearts through tears and through, brokenness, other people respond. And I think that has been one of the tools that God has used here to help bring healing to other people, is by us being able and willing to share our story and to go into our pain. It brings about healing for them as they live and share their pain as well.
God's a redeeming God. He uses the broken people in the world to help other broken people know that he can fix that brokenness.